armed rebellion is apparently underway in Russia as a convoy of rebel mercenaries is heading toward Moscow after seizing a southern city overnight.
Vladimir Putin is vowing to crush the rebels, ordering helicopters to open fire on the Wagner militia. KTLA's Carlos Herrera joins us live in the newsroom with more on this battle. Carlos.
Experts across the world are describing this crisis as the most significant challenge to the Russian state in recent times, which could eventually lead to a civil war. Right now, a convoy of rebel mercenaries is heading towards Moscow after seizing a southern city overnight. In a sign of how seriously the Kremlin is taking this threat, security was heightened in the capital city. Over the last 24 hours, the prolonged disagreement over the invasion of Ukraine between the Russian military and the head of Russia's private Wagner military group, Yevgeny Prigozhin, escalated into a confrontation. Prigozhin accusing Russia of attacking his soldiers and challenged President Vladimir Putin's justifications for the war. He called it a racket perpetrated by a corrupt Russian elite. Now, Russian generals in turn are accusing him of trying to mount a coup against Putin. Meantime, residents of the major southern Russian city of Rostov-on-Don woke up to military vehicles taking up positions and cordoning off streets. Prigozhin claiming he has control of the military headquarters there, but it's still unclear how he was able to enter the city or how many troops he has with him. Signs of active fighting were also visible near the western Russian city of Voronezh. He says his 25,000-strong mercenary force would go on the offensive against the Russian Defense Ministry, but insists the actions are not a military coup. Putin addressing the nation today and vowed to defend the country and its people from an armed rebellion. There he is calling Prigozhin's actions a betrayal and a treason. He condemned the rebellion at a time when Russia was fighting the toughest battle for its future with its war in Ukraine. That public address you heard there was a sign of seriousness of the situation. The two have known each other for years. Prigozhin, a businessman who became rich through the ties with Putin, winning lucrative government contracts while building the Wagner mercenary force, a shadowy private military company there that first emerged during Russia's illegal annexation of Crimea in 2014. Pedro Lauren, Russia's National Anti-Terrorism Committee, has now charged Prigozhin with calling for an armed rebellion, which carries a penalty of up to 20 years in prison. I'll send it back to you.